Come to me, my children. Follow the sound of my voice to receive thy blessings. Unburden yourself.
Ow! 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 Ow!
And welcome to the Church of Last Resort with the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll. The Church of Last Resort, where your prayers are heard, your sins forgiven, and no matter what you believe, you won't believe this shit. And now, the Reverend, the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll.
What's in the box?
You're muted. You're muted.
Yes, I just realized that. Thank you. I just realized that. So let's try this one more time. Take 3. Good morning, brothers and sisters. This includes our new members who may be enjoying us for the first time, wherever you may be and wherever you want to be, because you may not be where you want to be, yet there you are. And here I are in my office where it is Sunday, July 5th, the 531st day of the Sex Offender Administration. I usually say it's 70 degrees and 0% humidity in my office. Not today, because it is so hot outside that even inside in my office, where it's usually 70, it's like 73 or 74, and my air conditioner is having trouble keeping up. It's like I'm doing the best I can, but it's so hot out there. I'm pumping and I can't get you cool fast enough to stop you from heating up like it is outside. That's right. Poor little things like going, yes, I can, maybe I can. Yes, I can, maybe I can. So it's like 74 here, and I don't even want to think about what outside is. I think it's umpteen degrees with too much humidity. That's right. And if you still have all your fingers and toes, count your blessings. That's right. Up to 20, 21 if you're a man, and 27 if you're a man, and count by the inch. Welcome to the Church of Last Resort. I am the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll, PhD, DDS, ADHD, MCM, LIX. That's right. People have also called me the racy reverend, the pervert pastor, the vile vulgar vicar of vice, the sexy shepherd, the missionary man, the minister of mischief, the dirty deacon of doggy style, the freaky frisky friar, the ass man abbot, the booty banging brother, the colored cleric, the handsy high priest, the shameless shaman, Father Fistmas, the wicked I like to watch witness, the holy ho, the divine dominating dominee, the depraved preacher, the tickle me theologian, the minister of making love, and the clergy of cunning conversation while eating coochie. And that nasty N-word. The point is, I come by many names and by many methods, but I do not come easy. So, brothers and sisters, let us begin, as we always begin, in the name of George Carlin, Robin Williams, and Richard Pryor. Can I get a fuck? Yeah! That's right. Good morning, sunshine. Good morning, sunshine. It is hot. Yes, it is. My wife calls me the hot Rev. That's right. Yes, she does. Brothers and sisters, I'm not going to lie to you. Right now, I'm a little bit caught up in a controversial conversation with some guy named Chris K. Comedy, who goes by the name of Chris K. Comedy on Comedy Cartel. Okay. And it's not me. GD has been just talking with him because, all right. Let me see. I didn't plan on this because I wasn't aware of this going on. I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to show you a picture that was done out of the goodness and kindness of their heart. As soon as I find it here, because like I said, I wasn't planning on showing it, but I'm going to find it. One of them, okay? And then I'm going to, here we go. Where is it? Where is it? David, I know I forgot what it's called. I can't remember what it's called. I cannot remember what it's called, so I got to go through everything till I find it. You know why I can't find it? It's not. I didn't put it in here. Son of a bitch. That's right. That's right. It's not. I didn't put it in here. That's why I can't find it. I didn't save it. Okay. But the point is, here we go. Those of you who know the show, one of our members. Good morning, Sister Ann in California. Those of you familiar with the show know that we show graphic art, AI art, graphic art that is done by one of our members of our congregation, Brother Kevin Benson in New Zealand. Okay, he goes by Kevin Benson on Facebook. So I'm not like outing him or anything like that. He goes by that real name. You know, he's not ashamed of his name. He's a grown ass man. Okay, and as a matter of fact, he doesn't even need me or GD to defend him. But in promoting the show, I used some of the artwork that he's been kind enough to do. Okay, kind enough to do, and believe me, it's shit that I myself probably cannot do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm AI ignorant, and that is what the I stands for with me. It is ignorance. I can't help it. But what he does is, here we go. I think this is one of the, yes, here we go. I'm going to save this, and I'm not even going to change the name. I'm not even going to change the name. I'm just going to keep it saved as download, because that's the only file in that file that'd be called download, because everything else has a real name. Because I changed it, so this one's going to be called download. That, got to change it, otherwise everything would be called download and be like download 1, download 2, and then you have to remember which download you're looking for. So, and this is just one piece. It's just going to be a sample of some of the stuff he's done, but it's the one that's most recently used on Facebook to let people know that we were doing this show today. Okay, so here we go. I'm almost there. Have patience with me. I usually have this stuff set right up, but okay. I gotta find it. It's under D for download because I didn't change the name. And there's chicken and coffee and eagle and download. All right, here we go. I'm gonna show you this picture as soon as it loads up. There it is. Now, it's called all revs versus the redcoats. All right. Now that was just the title that I just threw out there. And actually, I think I would have called it Revs versus the Redcoats. And it's supposed to be in honor of the Revolutionary War. Okay. And that's because we're talking about the Star Spangled Banner in the segment of Looking for God in All the Wrong Places. Now, this is not the only artwork he did. Heavy Kev did 4 or 5, maybe 6 renditions of something like this. As a matter of fact, I'm calling it the Rev illusion. Okay, this is the Rev illusion. That's right. So I posted that, and then some gentleman, I told you his name already. I'm not going to take the time to try to repeat it again. But he uses comedy in this title. Okay, I don't know if he does that on stage. He doesn't say the comedian or whatever. It's a Facebook page title. I understand he wants people to know he's a comedian or supposed to be a comedian. The thing is, he called this AI shit and said that GD's comedy is probably also AI shit. It's one thing. It's first of all, you can talk about GD all you want, and if you haven't listened to his comedy and you're calling it shit, then that's a reflection on you, Mr. Clay. And yes, I'm calling your name out because I said I would. Well, GD said I would. So, Mr. Clay, Mr. K, Chris K comedy. So the first thing he says is he calls out all AI shit. Okay. And I know that's not true because I have been posting and promoting this show on his on Comedy Central, whatever it's called, Comedy Cartel for almost 2 years now, right? 142 episodes, 52 episodes a year, going on 3 years. This is the first time that he's actually just called, and I've been not just this show, but Coffee with the Dog. Okay, so for almost 3 years, I've been putting this on Comedy Cartel, and this is the first time he's called something AI shit, and he says he always calls it out. So I call bullshit on that. That's the first thing. Like I said, after 3 years, this is it. And he says, "Well, check out my post." I don't give a fuck about your post, okay? All right. I'm talking. You're attacking my friend Kevin and my friend GD, both of whom can defend themselves, but you're attacking them with an erroneous premise, and that premise is that you know what the fuck you're talking about. All right. So give up the ghost. You're an idiot. Okay. GD won't call you an idiot because he doesn't believe in personally attacking people. Me, I'll call things. I see things as they are. You're a fucking idiot. Okay. And I mean that in a clinical sense, that your IQ is probably, no, that's imbecile. I apologize. That's an imbecile. So idiot is not a reference to IQ points, right? It's imbecile, moron, retard, right? So I can call you an idiot because I don't know your IQ. And idiot does not technically have an IQ value attached to it. So there. I didn't call you an imbecile because I have to know your IQ to prove that. But I can tell from your text and your messages that you are a fucking idiot. Okay, you don't know what people who use AI. You use AI on Facebook. When you promote your shows on Facebook, you're using AI, you fucking moron. Okay, so you talk about all AI shit. Facebook is full of AI shit. And I don't like to start my show off with this. I like to start off with a prayer, an opening prayer. But now I was so upset that I almost missed the opening of the show. I was so busy getting. I don't get upset. I don't usually get upset. I just let it roll off my back. But right now, my back is so full of sweat from the fucking heat that there's no place for it to roll. It can't roll anywhere. Shit. So, but what GD did, and again, this is GD. I say fuck Chris K and the horse he rode in on.
Fucking liar!
GD said, tell you what, come on come on MindDogTV, Coffee with the Dog, and let's discuss this. Because GD is not an AI person, okay? But he did attack GD's comedy. But GD is not like an AI apologist. And neither is Matt Napo, but Matt is proficient in the art of AIing, okay? Much more proficient than GD. And GD may not do an adequate job of talking about the ways you can use AI and not be an AI slop creator. Okay, so GD invited him on the show, sent him a link, says, come on the show, let's discuss this like adults. And then talk about my comedy to my face, you fucking moron. Actually, he didn't say that. Again, GD is too nice to say that. I'll say it. That's why I'm here. I got his back. I got his back because I know he's a good, decent fella. And I think he's funny. You don't have to. If everybody thought he was funny, you'd already heard of him. He'd have like 9 specials on Netflix, 10 on HBO, and he'd be selling out stadiums all around the world. Nobody knows it. Okay, not nobody. That'd be a literal lie. But hardly. But when you compare the percentages of the people on the planet Earth, let's say it's more than 30. That's about how many people have heard of GD. So if there were 30 people on the planet, then that's everybody on the planet would have heard of him. But because there's billions of people on the planet, statistically, no one knows who the fuck he is. But just the same, he's a decent human being and he's a decent comedian. But if you don't think he's funny, don't go to his shows, like most people. That's right. So, look, I had to get it off my chest because I have a show to do and I need to do it without thinking about the fucking morons that are out there. Sorry, not a moron. That is, I think, a clinical term. The fucking idiot who calls himself Chris K Comedy. And GD did tell him, he warned him, he says, the Reverend will address your comments personally on the show. So if he wanted to watch, and he goes, I'm not watching your show, AI slop. I'm not watching AI slop. And I told him it was that, GD said, it's not AI, it's a live show. You can actually interact with me and see that I'm not AI. But that's okay. My intelligence is not artificial. It may be enhanced with a little bump now and then, and we'll be doing that later. Sure, my intelligence is enhanced by a bump for the Lord. Product placement, commercial plug. Yes, indeed. But AI, oh no. To quote the great philosopher Plato, suck my dick. It's time for our opening prayers, sponsored by GD Fenderson, certified forensic humorist. If you have an opening need that needs to be filled by a humorist, a comedian, someone with his mindset and his sense of humor, reach out to GD Fenderson, check out his promos on what's that thing called? Gigsalad.com, or go to his website at sogdfunny.com. Okay. Hit the menu and I think check book them or something like that. Contact, whatever. Now, if you or someone you know is in need of a prayer, like Chris K Comedy, who's in need of a prayer because the motherfucker has no sense or lacks sense, he's smart enough to know how to type. I'm assuming he knows how to type, and that AI does not correct any of his typing. That he does his typing without the assistance of AI. He doesn't use autocorrect. So if you or someone you know is in need of a prayer, request for prayer, healing, forgiveness, or any such request, send your request to me, Dr. Reverend Jellyroll at gmail.com. It doesn't have to be a request. If you have something to say to me, Mr. K, you can type it in. If you're watching now, if you're watching live, you can just put it in. You can just type it in. Or fuck it, if you're bold, I'll send your fucking ass no, I ain't got time for your link. I got a show to run. Another time. But if you're just gonna converse in general, you can email me, Dr. Reverend Jellyroll at gmail.com, just like it's scrolling across the bottom. See how it's scrolling across the bottom? And that's roll with an E, so that you can reach out to me, not one of those other jelly rolls. Oh man, I'm all right. I do not like being this upset because Lord have mercy. So, now for our disclaimer. While all prayers are heard, not all prayers are answered when we want them to be. Some loopholes and restrictions may apply. So please bow your head unless you're driving your car or your significant other. And if that is the case, just close your eyes. Yes, sir, just close your eyes and let Jesus do the driving while we pray. All right. But do not let go of the wheel until you know Jesus has full control. Okay? Full control. Not just the steering, not just the gas, but the brakes as well. That's right. And when I'm by as well, I mean as swell. Like you get butt hurt because somebody's using AI. That's right. Whew. Lord have mercy. Dear Lord. Fuck. Oh man, this is serious. I did not do that. Please tell me I did not do that. I did do that. Lord have mercy. I'm gonna I did not save my oh shit. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call an audible. Okay, I'm gonna read this from the other screen. That's right. I'm gonna have to read this from the other screen because I didn't put it on this one. It's not here. So, Dear Lord, please bless Sister Penelope Keith. Actress Dame Penelope Keith, best known for her roles in classic British sitcoms, The Good Life, and To the Manor Born, has died. She was 86. Her cause of death was cancer. the bad kind. Dame Penelope Keith died peacefully whilst living with cancer at her home in Surrey. She was living with cancer while dying from cancer. It's a dang miracle. Keith began her career in theater before joining the Royal Shakespeare Company in 1963. She later appeared in several television roles, but everything changed in 1975. Her portrayal of the sharp-tongued yet unforgettable Margot Ledbetter in The Good Life turned her into a national favorite. The performance earned her a BAFTA in 1977. A year later, she picked up another BAFTA for The Norman Conquest, which proved her versatility on both stage and screen. The Norman Conquest is a trilogy of interconnected comedic plays by Alan Ayckbourn, who exploring the same, exploring the same weekend from different perspectives within a single house. Not the key battles of the Norman Conquest in 1066. That would be the Battle of Fulford, the Battle of Stamford Bridge, and the Battle of Hastings. They were historical, not hysterical. Hysterical, not funny. In addition to her successful acting career, Keith also succeeded famed actor Laurence Olivier as president of the Actors Benevolent Fund after his death in 1989, and was appointed Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, or DBE. In the 2014 New Year honors, the title comes with additional responsibility and additional clout, but no additional pay. Now, if she had BDE, be a different story. Her other works include Executive Stress, No Job for a Lady. That's a different story again, too. Sorry. Blithe Spirit, The Importance of Being Earnest, and Death Comes to Pemberley. Dear Penelope, now death has come for you, or come to you. Can I get a paycheck for my BDE? And let me get some water. I've got a scratchy throat. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, yes. Dear Lord, please bless Brother Tom Ligon. That's right. Tom Ligon, a veteran actor in films. Now, I'm pronouncing it Ligon because I knew a guy in high school who spelled his last name the same way, and he pronounced it Ligon, okay? And I used to jokingly call him Ligon, but it's and so if he pronounces it Ligon, that's fine. I pronounce it Ligon because I've only known one person in my entire life. Well, not one person. He had a family. I knew his mother and father and brother. So I knew 4 people with that last name, and they all pronounced it the same way. So I got 4 people who pronounced it Ligon and no one that pronounced it Ligon. So there you have it. Tom Ligon, a veteran actor in films, TV, and on Broadway, who also was a longtime member of the SAG-AFTRA New York local board, has died. He was 85. His cause of death is SUDS, Sudden Undisclosed Disease Syndrome. Ligon got his start guesting on TV in the mid-1960s before booking a supporting role in the 1969 film musical Paint Your Wagons alongside Lee Marvin and Clint Eastwood. Ligon portrayed Horton Fenty. He heard a Who is that singing like Dirty Harry. That same year, he starred in a pair of short-lived Broadway shows, Angela opposite Geraldine Page and Love is a Time of Day with Sandy Duncan. He also appeared in numerous New York stage productions during the 1960s. Ligon also appeared in Bang the Drum Slowly, Jump, not the video by Van Halen, and the long-running soap The Young and the Restless. Rest in peace, Tom. You're not so young, and you're about to get all the rest you could ask for. Can I get my drum banged slowly? Now faster. Now slower. Yes, indeed. Whew. Dear Lord, please bless. What the? I'm sorry. Please bless Brother Artur Dmitriev. Artur Dmitriev, two-time Olympic Paris champion, has died. He was 58. His cause of death was due to complications from a heart condition, including an aortic dissection and subsequent stroke. Now it is time for our obligatory stroke comment. Life is like golf. The fewer the strokes, the better. Gets funnier every time. Thank God it wasn't natural causes, because in Russia, natural causes range from being tossed out of a window to a staged airplane accident to heavy metal poisoning. Do you know how much Metallica you have to listen to get heavy metal poisoning? A lot. Dmitriev was the first male skater to win the pairs event twice with different partners. He won the title with Natalie Mishkadoodle, mistaken for a name that I could pronounce, at the 1992 Winter Olympics, and in 1998 with Oksana Kazakova. This made him the first bi-champion male.
Please stand by. We are having difficulties pronouncing foreign names. Please stand by. Please stand by. We are having difficulties pronouncing foreign names. Please stand by.
Yes, I was going to push that myself, but I'm not on that screen. I had to leave that screen because I didn't, for some reason, it uploaded an old version on my prompter, and so I'm trying to read it off of my computer, which is way across the room, and I couldn't hit that button. Thank you, producer. Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, Artur. You were born in Ukraine, the Ukraine, and died in Russia. Which Hall of Fame will you be inducted into? Can I get a Crimea River? Dear Lord, please bless Brother Michael Byrne. Michael Byrne, the British character actor and stage veteran who played a Nazi in Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, and the wizard Gellert Grindelwald in Harry Potter, and the Deathly Hallows Part 1, has died. He was 82. His cause of death is SUDS, Sudden Undisclosed Disease Syndrome. That's 2. For those of you keeping score at home. The Blue-Eyed Byrne, that's right, that's what ladies called him. If he infected them with an STD, they called him the Blue-Eyed Byrne. That's right. The Blue-Eyed Byrne was memorable as a soldier who attempts to rape the wife of Mel Gibson's William Wallace's character in Braveheart, and as a concentration camp survivor who helps bring down Ian McKellen's Nazi war criminal in Bryan Singer's Pupil. Here we go. Damn. A Nazi, a wizard. Oh, okay. It's like that old joke. A Nazi, a wizard, a rapist, and a Jew walk into a bar come out an actor. See, never mind. Okay, so that joke was AI generated. Thank you very much. Byrne started his career on the small screen, scoring roles in the TV shows such as No Hiding Place, Silent Playground, and ITV Saturday Night Theater. His film career took off in 1963 in The Scarlet Blade. The film was later retitled The Crimson Blade in the US, but since it was in black and white, it was technically The Gray Blade. Prior to that, Byrne starred on stage with a number of roles in shows from Laurence Olivier's National Theatre Company, including Romeo and Juliet, The Cherry Orchard, Much Ado About Nothing, The Seagull, The Double Dealer, and Death and the Maiden at the Royal Court. Byrne ended his career with over 170 credits. That's a lot of video games. Rest in peace, Michael. Death, where is thy maiden? Can I get an extra credit? And finally, Lord, please bless the entire behind-the-scenes staff at MindDog TV. They are truly doing your work, helping you to spread your word throughout the wordosphere. And they could be anywhere today, but they are here, wishing they're anywhere today. And that ought to count for something. MindDogTV.com/merch, the place to go to get all of your Church of Last Resort gear, your Coffee with the Dog gear, your MindDog TV gear, and your automobile gears. Amen. Now it's that time that all of my luscious audience has been waiting for. That's right, all of my luscious audience has been waiting for this time. It is time for us to have a bump for the Lord. That's right, brought to you by Bump in a Bottle. And I hope I'm holding this close because I can't see the monitor because I got the text up. I can't do the text and the monitor at the same time. It's virtually impossible. It's not AI impossible. AI could do it, but I'm not doing it. I'm doing it in real time, not virtually. So it's virtually impossible. That's right. So it's time for a Bump for the Lord. Brought to you by Bump in a Bottle. Straight from our vineyards to your innards. Wine. Just like Jesus used to make. Yes, indeed. Whoa. That's some good shit.
Amen.
That's right. Woo. Brothers and sisters, before I continue with our segment called Looking for God in All the Wrong Places, I mentioned our flagship show, the Coffee with the Dog, and I also mentioned the brains behind all of this, MindDogTV.com. Now, they're not responsible for my content. Don't get me wrong. I am responsible, myself and GD, we're responsible for the content. So if you have a problem with the content here, send me a letter at Stephen Ortiz, somewhere in Indiana. But if you but other than that, if you want to be on the show, Coffee the Dog, Sister Curly Hair So Bright is here to tell you how to do it.
Comedians, musicians, songwriters, filmmakers, authors, and podcasters. Coffee with the Dog is booking for the
Summer and fall.
now. Get free publicity and hone your interview skill in a fun and safe setting. Coffee with the Dog is a live radio, live stream podcast based in New York that airs daily Monday to Friday 9 a.m. to 11 o'clock in syndication on iHeartRadio, as well as video streaming platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, and many other platforms. Guests usually come on remotely via StreamYard, like Zoom but easier, although occasionally we do in-studio interviews. The morning show focuses mainly on comedians and musicians, and they have interviewed many top names and classic celebrities such as Robert Klein, Mike Binder, Eddie Brill, Doug Stanhope, Steve Byrne, Paul Provenza, Jeff Altman, and many, many others. For booking, go to minddogtv.com/booking.
Thank you, Sister Kelly Hair So Bright. She is a wonderful human being, And apparently, according to that K guy, she's an AI slut. Or just slop. AI slop. You know something? I would take her AI sloppy seconds over comedy K comedy, Chris Cage comedy's best material any day of the year. And you know something? I'm saying that without ever heard or seeing a bit of his performances. Kind of like what he did with GD, right? I bet your comedy's there. You know something? I'm going to judge you too. You're a fucking moron, and you're a disgrace to your race, whatever race you think you are. Indianapolis 500, Formula One, stock car, motorboat. I don't give a shit. All right, sorry. Let me get back to this. Man, I'm going to do something I don't usually do. But Sister Ann cannot have a bump today, okay? We're going to do a second bump, and this is for Sister Ann. She's not allowed to drink because she's carrying my baby. And so she won't be drinking for another 9 or 10 days, I think. I think that's a gestation period for one of my kids.
What's in the box?
So this is for Sister Ann, who's carrying the Reverend's baby. And please don't let my wife Ramona find out. Here we go.
Amen.
That's for Sister Ann. It goes down smooth, just like Sister Ann. I'm sorry. Stop it. This is why I'm not invited to nice people's places. Lord have mercy. Love you, Sister Ann, and I hope whatever it is that's stopping you from bumping gets taken care of. I'll send you money for the abortion. Brothers and sisters, in today's segment of Looking for God in All the Wrong Places, we're going to talk about the Star Spangled Banner, all right? Now, originally, I'm just going to say a few things. There's some things almost everybody knows. It's like out there in the ether or somewhere, or you're taught in public education. Although today, yesterday was, quote, Independence Day. So why am I talking about the War of 1812, which was like September 12th or September 16th or September 14th, something like that. It was in it started in 1812 and it ended in 1814. So like 2 years. And that wasn't the only War of 1812. If you live on the other side of the ocean, let's say near Russia, they had their own war in 1812 that had nothing to do with us. So over there, the War of 1812, and I think that's what the 1812 overture was about. Their war had nothing to do with us. No. Okay, nothing to do with us, but like everything else, America fucking stole it. So you say, why are you talking about that? And that has nothing to do with Independence Day. Well, guess what? July 4th has nothing to do with Independence Day. Wake the fuck up, okay? Independence was declared on July 2nd, and everybody finished signing it in August or something. So when is it? When you declare independence, or once everybody's finished signing the document that declares independence? If you're a comedian, all right, and you say, I got this great bit. Do you call it a bit when you first think of it and say, this is a bit? Or after you've honed it, fine-tuned it, and presented it to a real audience, a real paying audience, not an open mic audience, and recorded it for a show? When does it become a bit? Okay? Is it a bit in your mind? Because if it is, you don't need to improve it. It's a concept, right? July 2nd, they said, we're independent. That was the concept of freedom, because everybody's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? We're independent. People had no idea. Like, what? No taxes? We have to free the slaves? What? What the fuck do you mean? And so then they go, we're going to lay this out. We're going to describe what independence means. Okay? So yeah, it didn't happen on July 4th, but that's okay. But because it didn't happen on July 4th, they took a little license. I'm taking a little bigger license. And I'm talking about the Star Spangled Banner, which I think we sing every fuck. When I say we, I mean the country, events, major events, and probably on the 4th of July, which the song was written in September of 1814. Now, some of the things I'm going to tell you, you can Google for yourself and go, oh, yeah. And some of them I'm going to say, and you're going to say, I knew that already. Hopefully, I'll get the stuff that you did not know. Okay, I don't necessarily do like a deep, deep spiritual dive and looking for God in this song, because it's right there in the song. It is like one word, in God we trust, one sentence. And that was like in the 4th verse, okay? Okay, so originally, this was a poem by Francis Scott Key. Okay, he wrote it on September 14th, 1814. Okay, and it had 4 stanzas, not cut stanzas. That would be the guy from, that would be Ode to Being a Fake Architect by George Costanza. It's not that. This is something totally different. Okay, and now I'm not, because I'm not reading, when I start reading, I'm probably gonna repeat some of the shit because I don't know if I've already said it. And forgive me if you've heard it before. I'm vamping because it's easier for me to look at the camera and talk than to try to read shit off the prompt off of my computer, which is way the fuck over there and the print's this big. Because I didn't know I was gonna have to use it, and I got this itty bitty 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 font on my computer that I cannot see from across the room because some fucking idiot sent the wrong version to his prompter and didn't check it this morning because he was busy going back and forth with some fucking moron on Facebook. That's not going to happen again. That's unprofessional. GD doesn't usually do that. He doesn't usually give a fuck about what people think and say. But what bothered him was that they attacked his friend Kevin Benson. Okay, and he did it with such level of ignorance. And GD, he based his entire career, his entire comedy, on the fact that ignorance is out there and ignorant people do ignorant things, okay? And he does it through the lens and the scope of his own life, but he just can't stand fucking ignorance, Mr. K. And I know that's not your name. You didn't want people to know your real last name, so you probably just use your last initial, Chris K. And it's not okay, just K. Let me get back to this. I'm sorry. So, it was a 4-stanza poem originally called Defense of Fort McHenry. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. Yeah, see, so for people who are not from the Baltimore area, your knowledge of Fort McHenry may be like minimal, and even maybe less than minimal, like nil, zilch, squat, diddly squat. Okay, I'm going to put up 2 graphics of the of Fort McHenry to help you out here, so you have an idea. Fort McHenry is in Baltimore, and again, most people do not know where this is. They may know where Baltimore is, but unless you're from Baltimore, you may not have seen. There we go. This is where it is in relation to Baltimore. This is the Patapsco River, right around here. I'm sorry, you can't see my cursor. That star-shaped thing in the center of the picture is actually Fort McHenry. Yes, it's shaped like a star. Okay. Now that map is roughly. Let me take my picture out here, maybe to get it a little bit bigger. No, if I take my face out, you can't hear me, can you? Never mind. Deal with it. If you can zoom in on that, go ahead. This picture is basically a representation of the way Fort McHenry looked in 1814, 1812, 1814, during the years when the song was actually being written, okay? And there are things in there, like you can see, like the stables, where the stables are located, where artillery was kept and shit like that. But that you can see where it's located. It looks just like star, but it's located at that turn of the Patapsco River. So if any ships, British ships or any other ships, come up the Patapsco River to attack, Fort McHenry's got your back covered. Okay, they said we can cover every fucking thing from here. All right, so this is what it looks like then. Oh, like I said, it's not a photograph. They didn't have photographs. So there. Now this next slide here, this one here, is I think an area view of this is like a photograph of the way it looks now. Okay, now well, I'm saying now, like not right. I mean modern. That's a modern photograph. The cannons aren't operational, but this location is like a mandatory touring site for children in Baltimore. Okay, I don't know of any school. I do not know of any public school that does not have at least one bus tour to this location. Now, if you're from around the country, you may not have ever seen Fort McHenry, okay? And that is what it looks like. And I have one more thing to show you, and I'm gonna talk about it later because it's in the song, if I can find it, because now I need to know where I put it. Damn it. Please tell me I saved it. Okay. And if I didn't save it, I'll just describe it to you. I'm not sure that I saved it. Okay, but that's I apologize. I'll tell you about it. I will describe it to you when I come to it in the poem or in the song. Let's see here. I'm gonna look one more place. Two more places. I can just. I want to show it. I want to show it to you because people may not believe me when I say it. That's my thing. I just like say, okay, this is. Damn it. Fuck it. You know something? If you don't believe me when I tell you about it, just look it up. Okay, just look it up. When I get to that part. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to go back to hey there, Mr. Heavy Kev. I hope you were present for the conversation which I talked about earlier that kind of not involved you because you may not have any idea. People, some guy named Chris K on Comedy Cartel was being a dick and he attacked you. And I did not like that. And GD did not like it. So GD defended you on Facebook and I defended you here, even though you don't need us to defend you. Because if the man was a real fucking man, he would have just reached out to you and told you to your face that he thought that your AI art was shit. Okay, but no, he had to reach out, so fuck him. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back. All right. So like I said, the first thing I told you is that this originally was a poem and it was called Defense of Fort McHenry. Okay, that's the first thing. It was a 4-stanza poem. The second thing that I will tell you is that that was the first and the second thing about the school trips and about the 4-stanza poem. Okay, so now the song itself, like I said, it was originally a 4-stanza song. Now, as far as it being an unsingable song, and many person has butchered it intentionally and unintentionally. Now, I'm not going to go into that subject very, very deeply at all, actually, because we discussed this in detail with the top 10 worst versions of the Star Spangled Coffee with the Dog. Matt and GD, and I think Ron Kane was there. I'm not certain, but they were talking about the Star Spangled Banner and the worst performances. You can check that episode out and find out the top 10 or bottom 10. So there you go. I'm not going to go into those details. You can do that. I will not be beating a dead horse or those dead whores. I am going to tell you that the unsingable music that is used to sing it was stolen, like everything else the Americans did at that time, from an old English drinking song. So the music for our national anthem was stolen from the English. Okay, you got that? The music for our national anthem is from an English drinking song. Now, I'm gonna start off with the first verse. I'm gonna read the entire verse and then give you my notes on it. Okay. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight over the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner... Oh, I'm reading it wrong. Okay. Oh, say, does the star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave? Now, I had to change that because in the original poem, those last two lines, it's a question. It ends in a question. It's a question mark. It's not sung like we sing it as a statement. It was written as a question. Does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave? It was a question. He's waiting to find out because with all the smoke and all the fog, he does not know if the flag is still there. Okay, and I went first to the last two lines because I'm an idiot. But let's start. We're going to go back to the top. It says, okay, when we sing it, we say, oh, say, can you see? And it's not oh like that. See, often this word is mistaken for OH, which is an entirely different word. Here is just the letter O. In the original poem, it's just the letter O, alone. And it's an exclamation in the vocative case. In grammar, an exclamation is a sentence or phrase that expresses strong emotion, surprise, excitement, or emphasis. It often ends with an exclamation mark and is used to convey urgency, joy, anger, or other intense feelings. The vocative case is a grammatical case used to address someone directly, okay? In English, most languages use the nominative case for direct address. But in some languages, like Latin and German and Greek, in Greek, certain dialects, the vocative case is a separate form for calling or speaking to a person. What does that mean? I don't know. Ask your English teacher. Okay? I've checked, I've read and reread, and I know what they're saying. But as far as a vocative case and a nominative case, I remember talking about that in college English, creative writing, and I was a freshman in college. I got an A+ in that course, a fucking A+. And guess what? I don't remember what they're talking about. So, and if I had any sense, actually, if I wasn't doing this, because when GD was doing this, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And at 3 o'clock, he calls me in because he knew that I studied English and I had gotten an A+ in creative writing. And he asked me about this. I said, fuck if I remember. And I said, I know who we can call. We just can't call her right now because she will not answer the phone. And if she did answer the phone, answering the question is not what we'd hear. We hear, what the fuck are you doing calling me this time of morning, waking up me and my husband and my dogs? Now my dogs aren't going to go back to sleep. Now I got to walk them because they're up now. So we didn't call our friend who's an English major and an English teacher, and she could have explained it. So that, my bad, is what I'm saying. If you want to know, call your English teacher on the phone. And if you are an English teacher, please explain to the audience what the fuck I think I'm talking about. Okay. Toward the end of the verse, before the two lines, oh, say, does that Star-Spangled Banner, there's a line that says, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Okay. Now, glare, air, and there, this triple rhyme is unique. And it's a unique and characteristic of lyrics written to the tune of the anacreontic song. And that's the name of the song that we stole the music when they stole the music. Okay, I said it was from an English drinking song. It's called Anacreontic Song. It's called the Anacreontic Song. That's what it's called. Okay, you can look it up. If you look it up and you find a version on YouTube and you hear them sing it, it's a drinking song. Okay, and they're singing to the goddess Venus and the god Bacchus about drinking, being a companion and shit like that. I'll read the first verse to you so you can understand two things. One, that triple rhyme scheme. What that does is, in this song or in this poem, because there's 4 lines or 8 lines, there should be 8 rhymes. Okay. Traditionally, this poem would have 8 rhymes, but because of that triple rhyme, it gives it 9 rhymes, in where they would ordinarily have 8 rhymes. And that is, again, unique to that, to the time. In that time, the Anacreontic Song apparently did it, and nobody else was doing it then. Okay, so it would be like now. It would be like when Jimi Hendrix first played the Star Spangled Banner on his guitar, and everybody's like, "Fuck! What the fuck did he do?" And then everybody's going, "No, not everybody, but a lot of guitarists are going, shit, that's dope. I've got to do it. I got to do it." And they did the same thing in that Anacreontic Song. They did this little rhyme thing where they got 9 rhymes out of 8 lines, and they're like, "Whoa, you can do that shit?" And so other people in that time started doing the same thing. And so Francis Scott Key obviously knew about that drinking song, because he did this. And then within 2 days, when they set it to music, they used that drinking song music for this. Like 2 days later, he writes it, and then he writes this poem, and then 2 days later, they said, "We're going to add the music. We got this. You know something?" And they added the drinking song music, because there weren't any composers. He wasn't hanging out with composers. He was a poser himself. So, and now I'm going to find those first 2 lines. Let's see here. Nope, that's not it. Okay, here we go. This is the first line. So the first 2 verses of the Anacreontic Song. To Anacreon in heaven, where he sat in full glee, a few sons of harmony sent a petition that he their inspirer and patron would be. When this answer arrived from the jolly old Grecian. Okay, so the Anacreon in heaven is, I think, a Greek god, as best I can tell, or a Greek group of gods. But anyway, there's a bunch of people in the bar, and they're saying, "Be our patron, be our guide, be our inspiration." And then this is the answer. Okay. Voice, fiddle, and flute no longer be mute. I'll send ye my name and inspire you to boot. And besides, I'll instruct you, like me, to entwine the myrtle of Venus with Bacchus' vine. And besides, I'll instruct you, like me, to entwine the myrtle of Venus with Bacchus' vine. Now, this is something else that a lot of you did not know. Okay. You see the last 2 lines, how it was repeated? He goes, and besides, I'll instruct you, like me, to entwine the myrtle of Venus with Bacchus' vine. And then he repeats it. And besides, I'll instruct you, like me, to entwine the myrtle of Venus with Bacchus' vine. All right. The reason why I'm emphasizing that, because I want you people to know something. When the Star Spangled Banner was sung originally, this line, "'Tis the Star Spangled Banner," oh, sorry. Yeah, well, "Oh, say does that Star Spangled Banner yet wave." Those last 2 lines, starting with the Star Spangled Banner yet wave, "Land of the free, home of the brave," those 2 lines were repeated. The first time it was sung by soloists. The second time, the audience sings it back like a call and response. Okay, we don't do it that way anymore because now, because the way it's performed, and they stopped doing it like in the 1900s when it started being sung in public places and everybody was singing it already. It's kind of stupid to have a call and response when the people who response was already calling. So they cut that out for the public performances. So originally, yeah, when it was first sung, those two lines were also repeated. Those last two lines were repeated. Now, Lord, okay. So that's about the, okay. All right. Just in case I missed something, I'm going to repeat what I just said, but I'm going to read what I wrote instead of going off the top of my head. Okay. The final two lines of each verse form the chorus of the musical form and were initially sung twice, first by a soloist, then re-echoed back by the audience. This practice ceased in the 20th century when the anthem was often sung by groups instead of a soloist. Okay, that's what I said. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. See, because I was taking that off the top of my head, and I don't know what I retained. So forgive me if I don't know what the hell I'm saying. You know, so, oh my God, I'm going to go over. Just so you know, so brother Matt, if you got someplace to go, I'm only at verse 1, and if you need to go, you know, you can leave, and I'll close shop. And if you stay around, God bless you. Like I said, I'm just with verse 1, and I'm not going to explain every verse, just so you know. But I'll probably be till 10:30. Give you a heads up.
Fucking liars!
Okay, 10:32. All right. The next line, the next verse. On the shore, dimly seen through the mists of the deep, where the foe's haughty host in dread silence reposes. What is that which the breeze over the towering steep, as it fitfully blows, half conceals, half discloses? Now it catches the gleam of the morning first beam. In full glory reflected now shines in the stream. 'Tis the Star-Spangled Banner, oh long may it wave, over the land of the free and the home of the brave. See, so the second verse is when he actually sees that the flag is still there. Now, I'm going to tell you about the Star-Spangled Banner itself, the flag that's called the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1814, when this was written, 1812, when the battle was fought, that flag had 15 stars and 15 stripes. Yes. The Star-Spangled Banner flag had 15 stars and 15 stripes because at that point, we were no longer the original 13 colonies. We had added Vermont and Kentucky, okay? And so according to the, let's see here. I'm going to have to look it up because I don't remember the actual year. And if I didn't write it down, shame on me. Shame on me. Okay. There was what I think they called it the National Flag Act or something like that. And basically what it said was that and they wrote this back when they were, you know, when they were like, they wrote it when Vermont and Kentucky was added, I believe, that year. When they added those two, they said, okay, every new state is getting a star and a stripe on the flag. Now, I don't think they intended having nobody thought there'd be like 50 states at that point, I think. I mean, yeah, they were talking manifest destiny, but they weren't thinking ahead. Otherwise, they'd have freed the slaves and let women vote, and they'd have realized that they said only white men who owned property were free enough to vote. But they weren't thinking ahead. That's right. If you're a white man and you don't own property, according to the originalists, you shouldn't be able to fucking vote. So if you're one of the Trumpers who are trying to suppress the vote of other people and you're not a landowner, fuck you, because you wouldn't be able to vote either. All right? So there. Fuck you. Sorry. Man. Okay. So the Star-Spangled Banner had 15 stars and 15 stripes. Now, somewhere, because I forgot to write it down, I don't remember the year, but they've changed that law so that every new state got a star, but they rolled it back to 13 stripes, realizing what the fuck their problem they were going to have if they kept adding stripes. You know, be like a pinstripe flag. So they said we're going to hold it at 13 in remembrance of the original 13 colonies or 13 states. But after that, every state gets a star. So, and every state and Matt Napo have a star on the flag. So 49 states and Matt Napo have a star on the flag. And if we get another state, by law, we have to add another flag, another star. But we will still hold on to just having 13 stripes. So just so you know, if you ever see a picture of a flag with 15 stars and 15 stripes, that is the Star Spangled Banner flag. Okay, that is the flag of song from 1812. That is what our flag looked like. It is not an AI hoax. It is history. I don't know where I left off. That's okay. All right, yeah, just finished that, the second verse. I'm going to go into the third verse. But you notice that the last two lines went from going to being a question about whether or not the flag is still there, and now it's an answer. He knows the flag is still there. Because whereas the foes haughty host and dread silence reposes. So the foes haughty host, that's the British. They're hiding. Well, they're not hiding because they're out there. The ships are out there. They can't hide. But with all the bombing and all the smoke, it hides them, even though we know they're there, and it gives them a chance to rest as well. Because the American revolutionists, the rebels, the Rebel Alliance couldn't really fire at them. I guess they couldn't be wasting ammunition if you don't know where they are. You can't see them. You can't, you don't know how far you missed it by. So it's like a repose. It's a rest. And meanwhile, while they're waiting for the fog to clear and shit. And the funny thing is, they weren't firing on the Fort McHenry either, but that would have given away their positions and given away their ability to rest. Because remember, during the war, cannonballs are flying, people are getting hurt, and while it's actually going on, you don't get a chance to make repairs. You don't get a chance to fix things. So all of this smoke and stuff is giving both sides a chance to recoup. And if the British had continued to fire on Fort McHenry, they'd have been giving up their positions because you see the flash of the cannons, and then I keep wanting to say the U.S. I'm going to say the U.S. The soldiers at Fort McHenry would have targets to aim at. So there was a rest based because of all the smoke. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me. Okay, go ahead. I took the tour. Okay, I was at Fort McHenry. Were you at Fort McHenry? I was there. I saw Fort McHenry. Did you see Fort McHenry? All right. You argue with me when you go to Fort McHenry and get to swim out where the boats were. We didn't do that. The third verse. And where is that band who so vauntly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country shall leave us no more? Okay. That, even though it stops, I'm stopping in the middle. Okay, I'm going to continue. That's the question. It ends. That's a question. Their blood was washed out. I'm sorry. Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or gloom of the grave. And the star-spangled banner in triumph doth wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. Most people who get to the third verse have an issue with this one line that says, no refuge could save the hireling and slave. And they think that it's a reference to slavery or blacks in the U.S. who were not freed yet until 1865, Juneteenth, 1865. So, but this is not a reference to those slaves. For the record, yes, slaves did fight in the War of 1812, the Battle of 1812, on both sides, okay? They fought for the U.S. under the conditions that they would be freed after the war was over. They were not. The slaves that fought for the British, 4,000 to 5,000 of them, were also promised freedom if the British won, at the end of the war. But that's because the British expected to win the war. They did not. So those 4,000 to 5,000 slaves were not freed either. As a matter of fact, they were forced to leave the U.S. They left the U.S. and they went to live on British colonies. You know, they take those niggas back to England. We ain't taking you back to England. We'll send you to one of our colonies where you can live, like India, someplace where there are other brown people. We ain't bringing you back to England. Oh no, we ain't doing that. Niggas can't go. And sorry we lost. Sorry you brought back the wrong horse. But they were slaves. Part of the one time that the U.S. Capitol was attacked, successfully reached and attacked. It was not destroyed totally. It was not destroyed. Trump would do that later. But yes, they made it to the Capitol to try to take it down. So, but that verse, hireling and slave, what they're referring to are the actual British soldiers, okay? British soldiers, there were two types of British soldiers. There were those who were paid. They were hired. They were paid, okay? And then there were British soldiers who did not have a choice. I guess you can say they were drafted, okay? They were the slaved. So these are hirelings and the slaves, and they're enslaved and hired to the crown, okay? Not the same one. So a lot of people are getting their feathers all ruffled up saying, you talk about slavery in the thing. That's not the same thing, because if you go to the next line, you ignorant little fucks, it says, no refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. So they're talking about the battle. Okay, they're talking about the battle, and the British is like, no, nothing can save you. You can't run, you can't hide. You're either gonna surrender, you're either gonna run away, and that's shameful. Nothing's gonna protect you from that shame, or you're gonna die, and nothing's gonna protect you from that. Cause we kicking your ass. Okay, so we're kicking the paid ones and the slave ones. That's what that verse is referring to. So, in the last verse, and then again, there's nothing magical about this verse. I'm just going through all 4 verses so that people can hear them. And you can Google it yourself and read it for yourself. Oh, thus be it ever when freemen shall stand between their loved one. I'm sorry. Let's try this again. Again, oh, thus be it ever when freemen shall stand between their loved home and the war's desolation. Blessed with victory and peace, may the heaven rescued land. Praise the power that hath made and preserved us a nation. Then conquer we must, when our cause it is just. And this be our motto, in God is our trust. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph shall wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave. So basically the last verse it's talking about the freemen, the victorious freemen, okay, and who stood between destruction and their homes. Their homes are here, destruction's over there, and the freemen stood between them and defended them, okay? It wasn't just freemen, okay? Yeah, they're free from the oppression of Britain now, but some of those people were still not free, okay? Blacks were not free, women were not free, and although white men were free, the ones that didn't own property could not vote, so you didn't have a voice. So that concludes my reading of the Star-Spangled Banner. I'm hoping that this was informative. And I want to thank those of you who stuck around for the whole thing. Bless you. Please reach out to your friends, let them know about the program. Check it out on minddogtv.com. Please follow me on my YouTube channel, Dr. Rev Jelly Roll, or on Facebook, Dr. Rev Jelly Roll, roll with an E. Roll with an E. All right. So thank you. If you're so inclined, check out GD Fenderson, www.sogdfunny.com. There are a multitude of links there. You get to decide whether you think his comedy is AI generated or not. Okay? You get to decide whether or not you think he's funny or not. And if you think he's funny, book him. You book him as a feature, book him as a headliner, book him as a host. Although he doesn't like hosting. He doesn't. He does it for his friends. He doesn't like hosting for strangers because he doesn't like to give up the mic once he get it. Can you blame him? So, but he's available. You can book him through his website or through gigsalad.com, GD Fenderson. On behalf of the Church of Last Resort and the entire Roll family, my wife Amona, my kids Cinnamon and Jelly Jr., our cat Tootsie, and our dog Stop Dropping, I wish you safe travels, and I hope you will join us next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Time or 9 a.m. Eastern Orthodox Time on Mind Dog TV and everywhere that our word is heard. So thank you, Sunshine. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you so much, Sister Ann, Brother Kev, and anyone else who's out there listening. Thank you so much. I grabbed this out of reflex. Man, sorry. That's not what I want to do. So I thank you all and have safe travels. And in the name of George Carlin, George Carlin, Richard Pryor, and Robin Williams, can I get a fuck yeah? Fuck yeah! Lord have mercy.